Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. I'll never forget the summer when I learned the hard way to begin with the very end in mind. If you want to learn a new process or accomplish a new task, you got to know what you're going to do all the way to the very end. We knew this was going to be the night. We even had a few test runs. We've been to every local bait and tackle shop. We knew the gear we needed. We knew where we needed to set up. We've been to the Pensacola Fishing Forum. We knew what time we needed to go out there. So we rolled up. I had in my truck, I had the big Blue River kayak in the back. Wasn't made for going out in the ocean, but that's all right. It's supposed to be a green flag tonight. Nice calm waves. Start pulling out, loading up. My friends Logan, Andrew, and Jason show up. Pull out. We get our rods, our fishing rods, our bait out, sand spikes, chairs, everything we need. Tonight's going to be the night we finally catch that big shark we've been gunning for all summer. So we load up our gear out. I got my kayak in one hand. I'm pulling it across the beach. It's about 50 yards to get to the water. We're in the perfect spot. There's an indentation in the beach where the riptide's coming in. It's where the sharks come in and out. When they're cruising between the sandbar and the beach. This is where we're going to catch that big one that we've been aiming for. So we set up, and the first thing you need to do is get a big, long steel leader. You want one about the length of the shark you want to catch. So we're going for a big one. We got a 10-foot steel leader. At the end is a hook about the size of your hand if you made, or your finger if you made a claw with it. So you run that hook through the mullet, about the size of a little football. This is the one I'm using. Has been soaking in menhaden oil all night. It's got that real fishy smell. All the sharks will be coming in from miles around knowing this is the meal they've been looking for. So I'm the first one to get rigged up, and I throw the mullet on the back of the kayak. We got Andrew watching the reel, and Jason is going to be sitting on the beach. He's going to flash the light out to let me know when he sees me in the moonlight, it's time for me to drop the bait off. So I start paddling out there in the kayak. I finally get to the waves, and I'm going up and down the waves, and I'm realizing, wait a minute, these waves are a little high, rougher than green flag. But I get past them, I get past the wave break. I go out about another 150, 200 yards. I look back, I see Jason's flashing the flashlight, let me know I'm out far enough, it's time to drop the bait off. So I reach behind me, I drop the fish in the water, and I start turning around. I'm about 150 yards out from shore, I keep paddling in, I see the wave break coming up, it's about 70 yards from shore. As I'm paddling, I catch the first wave and I surf in, about 30 yards, I'm good to go. I figure I'll wait for the next wave, keep paddling a little bit, and then I'll ride the next one all the way in. So as I'm paddling, if you've ever been out in the water and you suddenly stop when you're walking around in the water, you stop moving and you know something's about to come up. As I'm paddling, my kayak stops moving even though I'm paddling, and then boom, a huge wave comes out of nowhere, hooks the back of the kayak up over the front, and I get shot out over into the kayak. The kayak goes flying off to the left, and I got my paddle in one hand, and I'm in water about chest high, middle of the night, moon out, prime time, shark feeding time. I'm freaking out. I'm running over, trying to get over to the kayak, trying to find it and then grab it and bring it back to the shore. The whole time I'm thinking, oh God, any minute now my legs are going to get taken out. I get to the kayak and I finally start coming back over. I get to the water, nothing happened to me. As I'm walking back up to the site where we had set up, I'm just adrenaline rush, drained. My buddy Jason says, "Oh, did you get a little wet out there, B-Reg?" Yeah, I got a little wet. Andrew says, "Hey, maybe we need to get some training wheels on that kayak." They're all making fun of me, having a good time. I'm as mad as I can be. I'm like, that's it. I'm not going back out in that water. I don't care if we never catch a shark. I'm not doing it again. Well, that's all right. I calmed down. Andrew takes the next bait out. So we got 2 lines out. We're ready to catch a shark. He has no trouble getting back in. After about an hour, we're hanging out, having a good time. We hadn't really been thinking about it a whole lot. We figured you gotta let the bait sit out there, let the sharks come in, and eventually one will pick it up. After about an hour, we're sitting there like, maybe we need to check the bait and see if there's anything on the end. Suddenly we hear that conventional reel, that drag hit. That drag starts flying. We're like, all right, we finally got the one we've been waiting for. Here it is. So Andrew runs over to the reel. He runs over and picks his wallet out of the holder. But you gotta let it wait. Let that shark get that bait real deep in its mouth. Let the hook set in real well. After about 100 yards, he sets the drag tight and he starts fighting. He's pulling it in and reeling it. He's pulling it in and reeling it. He's pulling it in and reeling it again. The shark goes out 300 yards. He pulls it in at 150. Shark goes out 400. He's pulling in 200. Finally, after an hour, we're starting to make some ground. He's pulling in 200 yards. Shark's going out 100. But by about 50 minutes, his arm is destroyed. He can't hold on to the rod anymore. I take it over and I start fighting. I was fighting and pulling it in. Another 45 minutes of fighting this shark. Then my arm is destroyed. We're a mile down the beach from our site where we set up. We got a crowd of tourists gathered around us. They're all thinking, what is this monster that they've caught? What could they have gotten? So we keep pulling it. Finally, I hand the rod back over to Andrew, and he fights it that last 100 yards. Jason's shining the light out in the water. Finally, you see those two fins pop up. We see some monster out there. We finally got that big one we were looking for. So we pull it in, we get it up to the shore. It's about 10 yards from the water. We finally get to where we can walk out and grab it and drag it up. And this thing is huge. It's about 10 feet long. Big old nurse shark. Had to be at least 300 pounds. It took all three of us just to pull it up out of the water. We get it up on there, we take a picture, we start to look around and see what our incredible success this night. Finally got what we were looking for. Someone, a little kid in the crowd goes, "Oh, what are you going to do with it now?" We looked at each other like, "I don't know." Toastmaster?